This is happening for a reason. It's not a coincidence, so it's a chance to find out, the reason and to elevate yourself.
We have to understand subconsciously we're seeking the poverty or unhappiness. So this is a great discovery. Once you understand you love unhappiness, that is a starting point to become happy.
Wow, that's great.
So
Worry Exorcist. Today's main book is Twice Born. In this program, we will take up the main book published by IRH Press to solve various problems and questions that you are facing. The member who solves the problem is the Worry Exorcist. Every time various happy science staff will try to solve their problem. Today's Worry Exorcists are these people.
hi, this is Hide.
Hi, I'm Tina from International Headquarters.
And I'm Sam, the host of the show. As a Happy Science member, as Happy Science staff, we all three have been consulted by many people. We would like the answer to your concern based on such experiences. Now let me introduce the first problem. For this female librarian, my husband had an affair. It seemed that he is also in debt for that. I happened to find out by checking his mobile phone. I don't know why this happened. I really want to get divorced right away, but I don't know if I can do it with just one woman because I have a child, a girl who is 10 years old and child support. What should I do? Then Hide, what do you think about her feelings?
Yeah, it's so bad husband. Yeah, she deserved to divorce. I need to talk to her directly. You have freedom. You don't have to be victim by anyone. Yeah. So that's why I want to give her the quote from this book. The page 47. Master said like this: those who are able to learn a lesson from the textbook called life will eventually become people with great character. This is a kind of very famous phrase in Happy Science. Life is a workbook of the problems. It means everybody have to face the problems and you have to answer to that. So you can answer whatever you want to take. So that's why I don't want to force you to some conclusion, but I want you to realize that you have freedom. You can choose your life, and you are the builder of your life. Without you, no one can decide your life. And if I say more about this issue, I really think your husband is not so good. He betrayed you. This is fact. I can sympathize your situation. But as I said, this is part of your workbook in your life. That means your workbook adjusts for your spiritual level. So you don't have to blame your husband. You don't have to worry over your daughter. You just focus on yourself. My experiences. I studied Happy Science almost 30 years. And then I realized that I experienced same kind of issue, human relationship issue. So I had a problem with my father, and the father is so strict. And then I tried to run away from him. And then after I grew up, and I encountered the same type of boss, same type of supervisor. And I realized that I attract them. So then I realized that I have freedom to avoiding, run away. But finally I realized it. I need to fix myself. I think many people have heard about the laws of attraction. The true meaning of laws of attraction is your mind is magnet. So without changing your direction of the mind, you attract the same pattern of the problem repeatedly. It's called karma. Yeah. So that's why I recommend to have a time to think why I attract him. What is the teaching lesson learned from my life? Oh, I don't want to talk about this much. So
What do you think of his opinion?
Yeah, I was really surprised because I didn't expect you to be so strict. Wow. Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm so sorry to the lady with the problem because I think she might have a deep suffering. So I'm so sorry, and I hope you're feeling okay. I also would like to share some part of the book with you. So I will take the more like forgiveness approach. I'm also married, and of course, so many times I've struggled with my husband, can't understand each other, and feel so frustrated. But when I read Master Okawa's books, I'm reminded to try to love the person, especially from the eyes of God. So if I can share from this chapter to the extraordinary heights of love, page 140, Master said that he understood to love, nurture, and forgive people means believe in people and believe in divine nature or Buddha nature that is dormant in all people, that's sleeping inside them, and believe that they are essentially children of God and that all people have divine nature within them as children of God. So I know that when we feel really angry and frustrated, it's so hard to sit down and think about your husband, your spouse's Buddha nature. But I did it several times, so I forced myself to sit and then list up his good points and list up every love that he gave me, and also remember, how did I feel the first time I met him? How did I, what did I see in him the first time I met him? And if I can list up those points and remember that first meeting time, I feel like the love coming back so strongly. Then, to my surprise, my husband changed. Yeah, because people are mirrors, right? So suddenly my husband changed and suddenly became so kind to me. So, Tina, can I help you? Are you okay? Do you need something? Wow! So it was worth it to force myself to sit down and remember his Buddha nature. So before you before you do anything too extreme, please give him another chance and try to sit down and list up his Buddha nature.
Wow, powerful episode. So can I say something? Yeah. So as Tina said, that we are mirror, as husband wife mirror. So the reason the husband, from viewpoint to husband, reason to have some affair, something the loneliness, something frustrated, he has. So if you realize his frustration, his loneliness, there's some clue to solve that problem. So if you focus on your problem, it's not solving everything. If you focus on his problems, you can find another path to solve the problems. So you need to put yourself in the shoes of his. Yeah.
For me, to this is I have similar experiences. Yeah, in my junior high school, I have a friend in same club, and he interrupted my club activities. Oh, he always interrupted. I don't know why. And so I don't like him, But I want to change my situation. So I decide to think about his good point. No, not bad point, good point. And always I think, what does he have good point? So after several months or several weeks, he changed his action. I can communicate with him friendly. Yes, I didn't change him, but I only changed my mind to think about him. So maybe I think our mind is a great power, I think.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with that.
I also think that like you said, to think about the other person is important. And for a mother with a 10-year-old child, actually I have a 10-year-old child too. And I realized that I often think about my child mostly, not my husband. So my child takes my attention and I give my attention to my child. Because child looks, needs help or... But actually, if I neglect my husband, it's going down. And you don't think about that, right? You don't realize it, but yeah, like you said, maybe husband feels loneliness. So to think about them, think about their good points, and forgive. Yeah, and please throw the anger out from your heart. Yeah, exorcist.
We are worry exorcists.
Where are you?
The woman has a 10 years old daughter. So what is good way for her daughter? What do you think of that?
I think the daughter has her own workbook. So it's not typical answer for that. Every situation, every life is different. So if you victimize yourself because of daughter, you bound her life for that. That's why I think you need to think differently. Daughter issue and husband issue. If you think only focus on daughter, that means you have to suffer same mindset for a long time. Yeah. So I think it's a good time to change your mindset. I think every problem has a spiritual answer. Once you raise your level of the mindset, you can see different points. As Tina said, if you focus on your anger, you can deserve to anger that. But if you abandon anger and then raise your viewpoint, mindset, and see differently, so everything changes. So I think that the purpose of life is how to attain the higher perspective. So I think that we need you have to focus on the laser vibration and the perspective, and you realize that the purpose of a life and the purpose of the daughter's life and husband's life, and then what the purpose of your family. And then if you find the answer, I think that you can see through these problems. But it's difficult. That's why you need to study happy science teaching.
I love what you said, because to think about what's the purpose of your family, that's a very deep question. Everybody should think, what's my purpose? Why am I here? So Master said it in this book as well. Please ask yourself, what did I promise before I was born? Yeah, page 56. What kind of promise did I make to God? How did I make this vow? And please consider, so then you will realize that this is a promise to use your strengths to the fullest to benefit the people of the world while simultaneously preventing your weaknesses from affecting others, etc. So, you made a plan before you were born.
Yeah.
And your family has a mission.
Mhm.
So what is it? And only through faith you can, as you said, elevate your perspective and find the true way.
It's so important to the mission of life. Through my experiences, it is very hard to think only present worry or present difficulties, because if we don't understand the opinion or mission to solve the question, anxiety or worry, why do I get that so huge difficulties or something? So this is a great salvation to know the real goal to this our life.
Yeah, we need to start from the purpose. Yeah. So if you focus on the win or lose in this session, if you forgive the husband without spiritual growth, you think you lost your battle, and then your husband will win or go through the situation. That you still have the resentment in your mind. It's not good because your mindset is same as before. So, but if you focus on the beyond the battle, yeah. So this word is not such a word. Yeah, the win or lose, take on the give. So we just need to focus on to learn from it. So I think that I used to be the manager, branch minister of the Canada, and I always said, if you focus on the spiritual growth, every problem will be dissolved by itself. Okay? So each situation that give you your issue, your theme of life, and if you find the answer, the finding answer itself, the solving problems that dissolve by itself. It's so mystical. But if you focus on the win or lose, your battle is endless. It's called karma. You never get out this vicious cycle. So I recommend, think about higher perspective. Think about the purpose of your life. So to know that's so much benefit for your life. That's why I recommend to study the teaching of Happy Science. That gave me the higher perspective. I really understand. If everybody read Master of Oka's book, all problems, small or big, solved itself. Because they don't understand each other. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, a husband and wife are promised to marry before birth, so it's not accident. You didn't marry your husband by accident. So, what's the purpose? And please try to solve it with the teachings.
So if you believe the eternal life, and then you made promise before you were born here, that means that you finally meet the soulmate. Even though you have some issue here, but you are longing for meet him again in this lifetime. If you think like that, you are the eternal lovers.
Wow. Eternal lovers.
It's so romantic.
That's great.
That's kind of the eternal love beyond all the problem. I believe that.
Tina, do you have something advice for her?
Okay. Well, I think that in this Twice Born, there's a very special lecture called The Victory of Faith. And this is a very powerful lecture. If you read or if you watch it, you will be blown away and filled with light. And in this section 2, the Eternal Buddha, Master Okawa says that there is no coincidence in the heavens above, there is no coincidence on the earth below. Everything, even the falling of a single leaf, comes under God's law. So that means that this is happening for a reason. This is happening for a reason. So it's not a coincidence. So it's a chance to find out, the reason and to elevate yourself, like Hide said earlier. What do you think, Hide?
So, Tina's quote talking about that there's no coincidence in this life. I agree with that. Somehow, all issue or life is related to your thought, and then there's no exception. So that if you think this is kind of the accident, there's no clue to solve the problem. But if you have a power to accept all the problem has the reason, you can understand this is the chance to live for the soul. Yeah. So sometimes we feel that all problems our life is a kind of a gift from the heaven. Yeah. So while we are suffering in the middle of the crisis, we just focus on the runaway problems. But after realize some issue and then attain some small enlightenment, then we realize that, oh, this is a gift. This program is fit for me. I need to experience it for become a better person. Yeah. So I think that life is so mystical, and there's some issue. There's always the plan behind the scene. As the Tina said, the marriage is not coincidence. Yeah? Parents and the children is not coincidence. If so, all the people you encounter in the course of your life is not a coincidence. Yeah? So, we think, we meditate, what is the meaning this encounter? I think that is some clue to solve it for me too.
Also, there's the issue of the debt. She mentioned that her husband is going into debt. And that might be a lack of, debt might be a lack of gratitude, a lack of, So perhaps if in her own mind she could recognize how much she's been given from God. So this world is full of love. So if she can list it up, perhaps she could start her own gratitude flowing and towards her husband too, and that would help him as well. I think women have a great power. You have a great power more than you know. So your heart can greatly influence your family. So please start your gratitude flowing, and I think that will also help things a lot.
And from my experiences, that issue is related to the family. So I experienced it consulting the family who were always suffering with debt. And then I asked them the family environment. They said their grandfather also have such same issue. And then their relative also same issue. Yeah. So the daughter ran away from that kind of debt family, find the husband who's suffering with debt. So we need to think this is not coincidence. We have to understand subconsciously we're seeking the poverty or unhappiness. So this is a great discovery. Once you understand you love unhappiness, that is a starting point.
Wow, that's great.
So that's why each problem gives you the breakthrough point to the opposite side. You need to choose opposite side. Yeah. So if you want to be happy, you need to reflect yourself. Why you attract such circumstances, and then choose different paths from now on. Life is always changing, so we need to change better direction. That is the crucial point.
That's great.
In the transform, Master said about such point in the page 43, at the very least, it is not possible for you not to bear any responsibility for things that happen around you or involve you. This means their mind attract what they think. in depth their mind, right?
They're always subconscious issue.
Ah,
We always focus on our self-consciousness. It's so limited. But almost all our life is governed by the subconsciousness. So the subconscious is the history of your thought. Everything accumulates in your mind. The thought, you already forgot it, move you. That's why you complain about it, suffering something, and then jealousy. Maybe we think negative thoughts in a daily basis. If you imagine all the negative thoughts accumulated in the depth of mind, that's it's huge negative energy. It's kind of the negative vibration, negative magnet there, right? So we have to take responsibility what we thought in your life. That is the two factor of your life. Thought.
not just action.
Yeah. But to really think about it. And the happy science always recommend ask yourself what do you really thought. Not focus on the action, not focus on you said. What do you think? What do you thought? What kind of thought you have? Yeah. So if you change your life, only way to purify your thoughts. I think that is crucial solution for every problems.
Ah, I see.
That means that you and we have to realize that the one who made it unhappy is you. Yeah. So almost all situation, we need to take responsibility ourselves. Yeah. So the first point to change your life is acknowledge responsibility.
And that you have a choice. Like,
Yeah.
you can choose which thought you want to have. So if you choose unhappiness, or do you choose worry? And why do you choose unhappiness? Do you love unhappiness? Ask yourself that question. Do you really want to be happy? Ask yourself that question.
Sometimes we choose negative thought intentionally because it's a kind of revenge for the husband. Yeah. So if husband make you suffer, and you have the words, so you cannot complain him directly. In that situation, you choose unhappiness in your subconsciously, and then blame him. So I think that if you choose the situation, you choose unhappy as revenge for someone. So that
Then
is
revenge hurts yourself.
yes.
So you are hurting yourself with those negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Attacking your own self.
Yeah.
But you're a child of God, and God loves you, and God doesn't want you to be unhappy.
Yeah.
So stop.
Stop it. Stop being unhappy.
Thank you very much. And I hope that the words and phrases in this program will become words of awakening for everyone who had the same anxiety as hers to become worry-free. Please subscribe to our channel. We will continue to solve many problems from Happy Science books, so please feel free to write in the comments or send us a message. Also, if you have any problems or consultations that you would like the exorcist to solve, please email us onayami@irhpress.co.jp. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.